Welcome to Loan Officer Success Partner. I'm your host, Devin Dubuque, and we're here to talk about how to empower loan officers to create success in any market. And, we like to bring on amazing guests, with a lot of experience in the business that can really empower you with insightful ways to create successful patterns in your business. And I got to tell you today, we've got a superstar here, and I know normally I say we want to get to know the guest a little bit because I think you probably know this guy better than you know me. So today I've got Scott Hudspeth, currently with Referral, and man, dude, you guys are doing some killer things. Welcome to the show, Scott.
I'm so excited to be here, Devin, and most importantly, man, I'm honored to just hang out with you for a minute, man. This is some good times, man. I appreciate you and everything you're doing for the industry. So thank you so much. Well, really looking forward to this.
We keep the love fest going all afternoon, man, because I appreciate you, and I appreciate you taking the time to jump on our show too, man. At the end of the day, you guys are doing crazy stuff. I think it's the whole thing. We just want to help people, right? We're trying to help people find success. It's been a challenging couple of years for a lot of folks. I think the new guys maybe are doing a little better than some of the old heads, right? But at the end of the day, it's finding great opportunities to help, point people in the right direction, right? Show them the way, give them the path.
Amen, man. Just change some lives today.
Oh, man, let's go. So,
for the better.
Yeah, for the better, man. We're better together. That's my slogan. That's what I say all the time, and I believe it wholeheartedly. At the end of the day, you've spent enough time with me and I've spent enough time with you, that we know there's no secrets here, right? We want to empower people. And at the end of the day, we're going to give away the secrets. That's what we're here to do today, right? We're going to give away some secrets. So, no secrets to our success, right?
No,
so,
not mine.
Yeah.
I wear it on my shoulder, man.
You do.
So
you do. So you guys are doing some really cool stuff with the morning show. But before we get into that, let's just take a little walk down memory lane. So you've been doing this for what, a couple of years?
It's been 20 plus years, Devin. I've been in the mortgage business, 20 plus years. It's been an amazing ride. Yeah. I wouldn't change one day ever.
I love it, man. 23 years on this side of the table as well. So, I completely agree with you. Even the hard times, even the things that were difficult, those were the challenges that got us to where we are today, so I wouldn't change it either. Yeah.
I'm very thankful for everything that we've been through and all the challenges, because the hard times make us stronger, and so I'm glad to still be here, and I'm glad to have a lot of my friends still that are going to watch the show still in the business. It's nice to see that people are doing what needs to be done and changing market.
That's it. Well, the hard times are what make us better, right? Because we find out what we are doing right and what we are doing wrong. So
Amen,
fully
brother.
explodes. So a couple of decades in the industry, and you've been on the loan side of the table, but you've also been in management. You've built teams. You've done radio. You've done podcasting. You've done it all, man. You've run the whole gamut. You've even done real estate, for what I'm hearing.
I have. I did. Yeah. I jumped into real estate just to kind of get a better feel. Cause, I think everybody knows, but I do 50 classes a year for real estate agents. But it's for loan officers to have something of value, which we'll probably talk about later. But I wanted to get a feel from the real estate side of what's going on. The end of 22 was scary, to say the least. When I was talking to real estate agents, it's been so good, Devin, for 20 plus years that when I was talking to these real estate agents, they didn't have a plan in place because it's been so easy, so good.
Right.
And so I got scared.
Yeah.
I'm like, all right, I'm going to go figure out what it is that's happening. The rates, the inventory, all this stuff. I'm like, is it really that bad, or is there still an abundance of stuff? We just need to do different things, or we need to get back to the basics.
Yeah. Learning from the inside out. And that's the best way to do it, right? Start from the bottom and work your way up until you figure it out, because that's how you can solve problems.
Absolutely. Yeah. It's like being in the trenches, man. I was in the trenches, which is cool. So it was a lot of fun. I'm still in it. I still have my real estate license, still have my mortgage license. I'm honored beyond belief to be with Referral. It's the data that we all need and use on a daily basis. So we can, we all have the same 24 hours in a day. So
Referral is better, Referral is better.
That came from you, brother.
It might have. That might be. Yeah, it might be. The rumor may be true. We'll see. Stephen Wyans, CEO, man, just an incredible guy. And he's also originator background, and he realized, just like you, we needed to be able to provide a better way to empower our people, and he said, let's just build it.
That's exactly. Not only built it, it's amazing what
Yeah.
he's doing
Yeah.
every single day. Being a part of the team, it's amazing. Their team and the new features that are coming out, and
Yeah.
some stuff coming down the pipe I can't even talk about, which is
Ooh,
uber exciting. So
I'm
yeah,
excited.
little teaser there for you. Be
Yeah.
watching your emails, guys.
Yeah. Well, I'm excited to hear what you guys are doing because everything that's popped out so far has just been mind blowing, and I mean that because, just kind of dating back to the different systems I've used. We'll talk a little bit more about Redder does, but there's a lot of different folks out there that do similar things. And, the key thing is getting data to do research, on the people that you want to partner up with, either loan originators or real estate agents, or sometimes even builders, depending on, the platform that you're looking at. And, at the end of the day, having a resource to be able to look at that data on the fly and know who you're talking to, who you're talking to, a qualified person, right? That's really important. And, I started out with my MTA, product works. It gives you data. The problem is it's limited. And, I was a national lender. I needed a solution that could hit all over the map and transition to MMI. These guys have a great product, right? The downside of the MMI is it's not as fast. It doesn't have the accessibility. And, when I learned of Redder, I think it was we were at an event and somebody's like, check out Redder, because I was always looking, who's got the best product out there, And I remember I took a demo with Steven and I was like, that's it. Like we're transitioning tomorrow. Yeah, we're transitioning tomorrow. And, he and I kind of worked out a deal to migrate my team over and get them into using the system. And it's history. I have no intent to go anywhere else because, anytime something is missing, I just plant a bug in your ear or Steven's ear, and guess what? You guys build it.
Yeah, it's a lot of fun having like I said that we all have the same 24 hours. And when we've used the other competitors, a couple of them. In fact,
good competitors.
Yeah,
right?
no, they're it's all data, right? So
That's
it's
it.
like who has the better data, and then but more importantly, how are you using the data? And that's what I think I bring to the table when it comes to Redder. It's like we all have it. What do we do with it? And so that's where I'm uber excited. That's where the morning show came in. That's where the power hour comes in. And so I'm just excited to bring my 15 years of coaching and I'm kind of a freak when it comes to tool systems and strategies.
100%.
And more importantly, how to take those tool systems and strategies and put them into action.
That's right.
And then hold people accountable to use those actions. Scripting and making calls and pushing through the fear of failure and fear of the unknown. All that stuff is what I'm kind of a freak about.
Empowerment.
So
empowerment. And you're right. So many people, they have tools, they just don't know how to use them. And that's another thing that I love about what you guys are doing. And we'll get into the morning show and the power hour. But you guys are showing people how to actually use Redder in their business. And, that's the thing that I found with a lot of originators. They'll get this tech and they want to spend time on it, but they're so busy doing other things. And they're like, I don't have time to actually get in and learn it. And then they just don't use it. And it's another build that they're spending. And it's like, why am I spending for this thing? I don't use this thing. But you guys are actually taking the time to really teach them how to use it in their business. I think the reason it works so well is because Steven was a loan originator, right? Yeah. You were a loan originator. So it was a program that was designed by originators for originators with the intent of showing originators and empowering them how to use it to create successful patterns in their business. And man, you guys are doing a great thing. You mentioned one other thing, and I'm going to turn it back over to you. And you mentioned, how you're using the data in Redder, right? And it's part of that, but it's also the way that it's displayed. It's very user friendly, right? I'd say it's like the Apple of data products, right? You know where to go to click on things. It makes perfect sense. It's very cohesive, very quick to get to the data. I've used a lot of systems before where you click a button and it takes a few minutes to get you there. And it interacts with, really any system, whether there's a API or a webhook. You guys build it, and so you can push that detail where you need it, so it's quick accessed, and then you can click a link and get right back to the website to see everything real time so fast. You could literally, so the way I use it is I'll do a 5-minute review right before I jump on the phone with somebody to get to know who they are, and in 5 minutes, I feel like I've done it for 5 years.
The funny part about that, Devin, is when I talk to people, the data is so detailed. Yeah. You can go down some serious rabbit holes, but I think sometimes I know more about them than they know about themselves. I start spitting stuff out. So I'm like, and here's the best part about having all the data and all these little facets of the data is you can actually turn a cold into a warm very fast. That's because you can pull up a listing that they closed on, a buyer that they closed with. All the way back whenever. So if you wanted to pull up and you've done a deal, here's a crazier thing that I love, and this is where I tell people to stay.
Right.
Every loan officer in the country's closed loans are in the system back to 2017.
That's it.
And I think we have so many distractions, Devin, in this industry right now. We have AI distraction. We have all these things that are coming at us that we think are going to make our business easier when we're in a relationship business. And if we remind people who we are and what we do for a living on a consistent basis, and then ask, you talk about it all the time, making offers. Or how many offers you make today? And an offer might be just asking for a referral.
Yeah.
And so all that data is in there. So if you don't have that data, how many times, Devin, have you talked to an LO and they're like, I moved companies, I lost all my stuff?
Yeah. No, well, guess what? You just got it back.
You just got it back.
You just got it back.
And you have the agents that were in the transaction.
That's right.
That's the beautiful thing. So there's just so much opportunity right there. Devin, if you don't even go after new agents, you have all the agents you've ever worked with.
That's right.
I get excited about this.
Who they're working with, what they're closing, where they're closing it, right? Yeah.
There's even orphan agents in there.
That's right.
Did I show you this yet, Devin? So there's a lot of LOs getting out of the business. I'm sorry, best of luck in your new journey. But there's LOs getting out of the business that have agent relationships. There's some big LOs that are they're not staying in the business. Those agents have to have a relationship.
They're looking for somebody.
And it shows who they are.
Yeah.
So there's cool ways to do that. There's like you said, every agent you work with, who they're working with, if they're working with you, specifically, or if they're kind of, I like to, can I say this on the show, cheating on you?
Nobody wants to hear it. Nobody wants to hear it, but we know what happens, right? And it's funny you mentioned that. I was on a call just last week, and I'm not going to mention names because I don't want to shame anybody here. But I was demoing the product, and I was like, oh, I'm going to pick this agent right here. And one of the guys piped up, and he's like, oh, that's my best friend. And I pull him up. The guy's done 36 buy-side transactions. Guess who none of them were with? His best friend.
Ouch.
Right? That's
happens.
tough. That's tough, right?
Yeah,
because that's a slap in the face. You look at that and you're like, man, I thought we were buddies. Can I get at least two of those?
What was that guy's name? What was that guy's name? He's not doing business with your buddy.
Yeah,
so
exactly.
Let's go get him.
But it's a wake up call sometimes, right? Because you see that and you go, oh man, they did. Or you could even see who they closed the loan with and like, man, I pre-qualified that customer. Man, that kind of sucks. Right. What happened? Why did I lose it? And we can't get bitter about it. We got to get better, right? So it's an opportunity. It's a teaching moment. I did something wrong that I could have done better. And what was that? So that's a great opportunity to reach out to that agent and go, hey, I noticed that you closed that Smith loan with so-and-so. And at the end of the day, what could have I done better to keep that one with me? Right? Not why'd you do that? That's just going to run them off, right? What could I have done better, right? Blame it on yourself. What could I have done better to make sure that lead would have been kept with me, right? What happened there? Because I want to work with you and I want to keep your business. And if I'm not doing 100% of what you need, let me get better, right?
Yep.
Yeah.
I think, and just to add a little bit to that, it shows you again who your agents are, but more importantly, who they're working with and if they're working with you or not working with you. And we spend as a business owners, loan officers, spend so much time trying to turn cold into warm.
Yeah.
When if we just spent more time getting to know the people that know, like, and trust us, AKA our agents, AKA our past database, I call it the law of 23, Devin. I don't know if you ever heard me say this, but the law of 23. This comes from a Joe Girard, #1 salesman in the world.
He gets
Book
it.
of World Records.
Yeah. He's the guy.
He's the guy.
Yeah, he's the Michael Jordan, right?
Just copy what he did. He didn't have social media. He didn't have. I don't even know if he had like phones. I think he had rotary phones when he did that.
Yeah,
right?
and like an index, right? Like an index cards for his contacts, right? That's what it would have been.
He just loved on and knew every single thing. And like the law of 250, I want to share this because it's so important. So a lot of people come to me and they go, man, like my database isn't moving. Like they're not buying, they're not selling, they're not investing. I'm like, well, how about all their friends, family, coworkers?
Yeah.
And I go, the law of 23 is every single person in your database has 23 friends, family, coworkers that will refer you if they remember who you are and what you do for a living. And you ask for referrals on a consistent, persistent basis.
Stay top of mind. Stay top of mind.
Yeah, love on them.
Yeah.
I call it a quality over quantity. I would rather you have 100 people that you went deep with, knew their kids, their sports, their well
marketing. versus swamp marketing. We're going to get deep. We're going to get to know you. We're going to know who your kids are. You know, we're going to remember when you bought that home and the reason why. And when we reach out to you to follow up, how is everything going, right? How is Jake like in that new room? I know he was really excited about getting his own bedroom, right? How'd that turn out? What color did you paint it, right? You know, these are the kind of questions you can be asking when you're doing these follow-up calls. If you took good notes, you know, to let them know you care. And hey, by the way, you know, Scott, man, I loved working with you on that transaction. And I'd love to help any of your friends or family. Do you happen to know anybody that might be in the market right now? You know, man, it'd be a huge compliment if I could serve you and help out your family and friends.
Yeah, it's funny you bring that up. So I did this for a couple of my clients. So part of my coaching was to make calls to their past database and to leads.
Yeah.
And I would just call up. I'd say, hey, I work with Devin over at ABC Mortgage. He just wanted me to call and check in, say how you guys are doing. Is there anything I can do to put you guys in a better situation financially in regards to buying, selling, or investing?
Yeah.
It's amazing how appreciative they are of the phone call. And like if you say, hey, who of your friends, like, can I help you or your friends, family, coworkers? You know anybody that I can help to put in a better financial situation? That was my script every single time.
Well, and you know, that also goes into what we were talking about the other day on the morning show, and we'll tag into that next, is, you know, also maybe having a story. Because sometimes hearing you open up about somebody else that had success with the transaction, it helps them open up. You know, hey, by the way, you know, I got to tell you the story, you know, because I saw you had a ton of equity in the house, and, you know, not that you want to use it, but man, sometimes this applies, and I always like to share things. You know, we had a customer the other day that had substantial equity, right? You know, I mean, homes really appreciated a couple of years ago, and this guy was sitting on a lot of cash, but he was cash poor. And he was putting his son, you know, through his first semester of college, and he wanted to be able to pay for that cash. It was a commitment he gave to his son. He just didn't have access to those funds. And he knew he had some in the mortgage. He didn't want to pull it out because he had a 3% interest rate, right? He wasn't thinking about that as a vessel. But what we ended up looking at was, on top of needing the money for the first semester, he had some pretty high interest credit card debts that he'd racked up, right? You know, with the market being where it was. And, you know, we actually found out most of those cards had 24, 25% interest rates on it. And when we consolidated those into the mortgage and gave him the money for the tuition, and we gave him another $25K on top just to put away for a rainy day, his payments actually went down about $1,200, and he's now able to put his kid through that first semester of college. Hey, you know, did you have any debts you might want to pay off?
You know, it's funny. You just created a story, but like, and here's a good buddy. You were on the morning show. I think you heard it, but he goes, when you make that payment and you write out that check for your mortgage, where do you put the interest rate at? Like, where is that on your check? Yeah. You don't. You put the payment. Well, if that payment's lower, what can you do with that money? And then you kind of piped up and said, well, what if you take half of it and do this and half of it do like, where could you be in 5 years, 10 years, 15 years on a 30-year mortgage? Like, that's huge. So it's having those conversations.
Yeah, using your equity as investment opportunity to empower yourself with building, you know, financial success. And if you look at a lot of the investors that are out there today that are posting their hacks, guess where they're getting that money from? Yeah. They're borrowing it from somebody else to use it to empower them to make the investment opportunities that make them millionaires.
Tax-free money on a cash-out refi, tax-free.
100%.
And the beautiful part about the story is, like, I don't know the stat, but it's a really high stat, Devin. It's like 90, it's like high 80, 90%. They remember a story over numbers. Yeah. So if you're spitting out numbers with no story attached to it, they're not going to remember the numbers. They're going to remember a story because it puts someone in a better place. And the savings, that's right. Who doesn't want to have a $1,200 a month savings and have 25 grand cash just sitting around just in case? There's
more to it than that too, Scott. You know, you got to think about it like this. If you didn't tell them the story, they might not have been vulnerable enough to say, I'm having some trouble, right? Because that's a vulnerable conversation to have with somebody, right? So by telling the story about somebody else who had some difficulty with their finances and needed to tap into their equity, it makes them feel like, man, maybe I can talk to Scott about this. You know, I feel really good about it. So it's two things, right? It's the story that anchors them to, man, that sounds like I could use that. Like, I need that in my life, you know? And then it lets the guard down. And then, of course, like I was telling you on the call the other day, you know, always end that with, hey, let's take a look at your situation. If it doesn't make sense, I won't let you do it. Right. I
love that.
Because what you're doing is you're really helping them put their guard down, right? Like, I'm not going to do this for you if it doesn't make sense. I'm only going to do it if it makes sense. And I mean that, right? Like, if I put it together and the numbers don't make sense, I won't let you do the loan because I care about you. I care about your family. I care about your personal interests. It's not about my bank account. It's about making sure that you're protected and that we're doing the right things to help you and your family.
I want to make sure and bring something up. It's called the 5 Ds. No matter what the market's doing, no matter what the rates are doing. So there's 5 Ds that I go by. It's death, divorce, diamonds, diapers, and debt.
Yeah.
So what do the one you just talked about was debt. Like, man, I want to put my kid through college. I don't have the money to do it. I'm maxed out anyway. Like, I don't know what I'm going to do.
Yeah, where do I turn?
Right. Yeah. So move up, move down. I call it right size. There's people sitting in your phone right now. There's people sitting in your database right now that if they don't need it, their friends, family, course, somebody's had a death. Somebody's thinking about divorce, going through divorce.
Somebody's getting married.
In debt issues. Like, it's the way life is. No matter what the rate is, they have to do something.
Yeah.
Right. They're going to lose everything. So
well, let's go back to how we got here. Right. So we were talking about database, and we were talking about loan officers losing their database when they transitioned from one company to the next, because quite frankly, they needed a better opportunity. The new opportunity was better for them. Right. But now they don't have access to the database, but with Redder, they do.
They do. Yeah. I wish I could show my screen right now. I'm like, hey, let's pull up a name. Whoever's listening.
Well, you know how we can get that? Yeah, I'll tell you how we do that. Instead of doing it right here, we invite them over to the morning show where we can empower them by showing that. So let's talk a little bit about this, right? So here's what's really cool about, you and Steven and Redder. You guys said, hey, look, it's not enough just to create the product. Let's have a show where we can actually not only demo Redder, but man, I'm telling you right now, like, you get guys on there like, Coach Rick Koenig and, Scotty Campbell and like Irene Duford, you had on there the other day, right? Was it Boyd? What's it? Brian Boyd? Is that? Brian Boyd. Yeah. These are guys, these are some leaders in the industry that are showing up and they're sharing their success techniques on the show, along with you talking about Redder and how it can empower you inside of the business. This is huge, man. Like huge, man. It's huge. So talk about that. Yeah. Like, how did that happen? Like, how did you guys start that up? Why did you start it?
Funny. Right? It's funny. So it was, it started during COVID, and I'm like, we can't go out. We can't hug people. We can't be with people. We're stuck at home. So I'm going to do, my wife, and this is no joke. She goes, do it in the morning. Like, just do it. Just do a morning show. Like the Today show. That's already taken. So I can't use that. But
so the plug goes out to your wife. So we're going to make sure she hears that.
She's probably listening. Yeah. So she's like, so I'm like, let's just get motivated. Let's bring some motivation. Let's bring some excitement. The bigger thing
discipline,
that I want to say, Devin, is
showing up every day, some discipline.
It gets people out of bed.
That's it.
Like, people get up. They don't sometimes turn on their cameras because they just got out of bed or they're still in bed. But
right.
So one of the things it does is it shows that, and I'll say this about myself, I'm nobody special. I just hang around smarter people.
Yeah. Well, you say that, man, but you're an action taker, and and you're passionate, and you bring so many things to the table. So you are different and you are special. There's no doubt about that, right? But at the end of the day, you have a right thing there. If we spend time with some people that are better than us, it's going to make us better, right? And that's how you create success in your career. You go away from the naysayers. You surround yourself with successful people with successful habits, and lo and behold.
Every day on the morning show we have success stories, and that's the part I love about it, because we're hitting 50 people already, so 50 people are on this thing, and I don't know, whenever you listen to this, so like we get on here every single day, there's somebody like, hey, I had this happen yesterday, I closed a deal, or I had a application,
real problems,
first-time home buyer, but like real live success stories in an industry when other people are getting out of the business. And so it exposes you to real life situations. And then here's the best part, going back to stories a little bit. I can use other people's stories.
That's it.
Hey man, I had a friend of mine just did a refi for somebody Devin, I can use the story you just gave.
No question you can. No question. That wasn't my story. That was a story for one of my loan originators, right? He got on, he talked about it. I was like, dude, that's golden, because again, I'm not doing origination anymore, but that's a real story that happened. That customer was empowered with that opportunity, and now we can use that to enrich other people's lives, right?
100%. Yeah. It's fun to hear them. It's fun to, and I guess the best part about it is it gives them stories to go make the calls, to use the stories, because other people want to have a better life. They want to have a better financial situation. Realtors want to close more deals. And we talk a lot about how to approach realtors and what to say and how to say it. And if you implement what I call the Redder success plan, that in itself,
that's right.
Using Redder with the data, the database of yours inside there, the agents you work with, and you just do that on a daily basis, you'll have more success. And then heaven forbid you go show your agent partners how to do it.
100%. Well, you know what's funny about that? You know what's funny about that? You know, and it's funny because it took me a little bit of time to get this. You know, when I first started really going with, you know, building my business, building my career, and getting really serious about success, I started learning all these different success techniques, right? With AI and with, you know, CRM systems and, you know, utilization of Reddor and like, and, you know, we start approaching agents and I start realizing these agents, they need this information, right?
So
and in the
bad.
beginning, my thought process, well, cool. We'll make them come to us for the data, right? Like that's, you know, we're going to make them have to rely on us. And then what I realized was when you give it to them for free, that's when they want to do business with you. When you go, hey, look, let me help you. Let me show you how you can use this in your business today. Let's do this together, right? You're building a relationship with them, right? You know, and I think that's one thing that's great about this. And what's great about the show too, is we're empowering these people, you know, every single day on how to use this technology to create these successes and how to approach the real estate agents. And, you know, at the end of the day, we're not asking for anything in return, right? It's just, this is free data. Get out there and win it. And guess what? And then people are attracted to it. You know, they're like, man, I want to come back and I want to get more of that information. I need it. This is good stuff.
One of the things that I live by, and I try to help other people with this because, like, they're at first, or if you're not having such a good year, good month, whatever, you have a little desperation. Your demeanors are different, your frequency is different. So I try to help people go into a situation, go into a relationship, go into a meeting with zero expectation of anything in return.
Yeah.
It's amazing when you can go in and truly, and so two steps. One, zero expectation of anything in return, except for to leave them in a better place than I found them.
I love that.
I try that for everybody I meet.
Yeah.
And when you incorporate that into your life and into your presentation, into your meetings, and you literally, the walls come down. I mean, what if you said to an agent, Devin, if I said, Devin, hey, I know you have a lender relationship, not looking to replace them. I don't even know if we're a good fit. Let's just, do you have 15 minutes? Let me share with you what I'm doing to help other agents, what I'm doing to help myself, continue to have referrals coming in from the people that know, like, and trust me on a consistent basis, because their friends, family, coworkers, there's somebody in there looking to buy, sell, or invest, and you have the exact same thing. Do you have 15 minutes?
Yeah.
Whether we work together or not. And I've even tested this, and I'm going to do this live coming up. I don't know when you're listening to this, but
I'll be there.
I say, listen, whatever I show you, if we meet and we're like, dude, I just don't feel it. Like, you know, you just meet somebody, you're like, ooh, I got to take a shower. Like, okay, no, I'm just kidding. But go back and do this with your lender relationships that you already have.
That's right.
Implement what I'm going to share with you, because it will help you and him and her.
That's right.
Have more business coming in consistently and close more deals.
100%. No, 100%. And you know what's funny? I talked about this because I have another podcast, the Real Estate Success Partner, and that's where I bring on top tier agents from East Coast to West Coast. And, you know, what I find with most of these top tier agents, because I always hit them with the question, you know, hey, what's that one transaction that just means the most to you, right? The one that you just go, man, this changed my life, right? And I'm going to tell you right now, outside of a few, I've had a few, like I did a $5 million home and made all this, you know, I've had a couple of those. Most of them is, exactly. You know, most of those are, you know, hey, I helped this person. It took me a year to get them qualified. They really needed a home, and, you know, we finally got them there. We looked at 50 different properties. We drove all over the planet, and we got them into this house, and we cried together the day that they took the keys. Right. And that goes back to what we're talking about here is the top tier people out there, these top tier agents, they're human beings. They got there because they're passionate about the industry, and the success is what comes behind it. They do it for all the right reasons. If you start building these relationships with top tier agents for the right reasons, the money's going to come, right?
Absolutely.
That's it.
One of the things I live by too, Devin, and I try to help other people with this too, is like, what do we sell? Like, you got to ask yourself, what do we sell? And everybody says, well, if you're a lender, I sell mortgages. A real estate agent, I sell homes. Nope.
No.
We sell memories.
Experiences,
like we sell memories. Because if I get someone into a home, get someone out of a home, get someone into a new home, there's like, who does not talk about the very first home that it's still like it was yesterday.
It's got to be great.
I grew up when I remember the house I grew up in.
Yeah.
Right. So those, like, when I talk to somebody, I'm like, hey, listen, yes, I'm in the mortgage business. Yes, I'm in the real estate business, but man, in all seriousness, the beautiful part about what I do is I get to be a part of your memory.
That's right.
Or a small piece of it for the rest of your life.
That's right.
because you're going to remember that.
And what
house,
kind of
good,
experience
bad, or
do you
ugly.
want them to remember? You want it to be great. That's my tagline on my website, and what I use at the end of all my guys is home begins here, right? Your home begins here. And, because again, we are talking about their home, and it's not a house and it's not a mortgage. It's your home. And people always say, the biggest transaction in your life is your home. Well, that's true for a lot of people, but it's more than that. And it's exactly what you're talking about it's about the fact that this is where you're going to spend time with your family. This is where you're going to break bread. This is where the holidays are going to start. And you want that feeling to be great from the moment that you take the keys, right? From the moment you start the application to the moment that you take the keys, it's got to be great, right? And that's why aligning with a top tier loan officer, and a top tier agent who are doing it for those types of reasons is so important. It's so important because when you do that, and I'm not saying that, the money doesn't matter. Obviously they have to have good rates and, they not be gouging, but at the end of the day, that stuff melts away. What you remember is, man, this was a great process and I loved it. So,
one of the other things I teach is care, C period, A period, R period, E period, create a referable experience. And we could have a whole session on this. Like, how do you create it? Like, if you think about it, when you went to if I said, Devin, I'm coming to town, man, what's the one restaurant? If I don't eat out only one time, what's that place? Yeah. You're going to tell me because either the food or the experience or both or whatever. Like,
that's
right?
it. 100%.
And so if you have an amazing experience, subpar food, you're going to mention that place. Dude, you got to go there. The experience is amazing. The place is amazing. Like for me in Daytona, on the ocean, I'm going to take you to the top of Daytona. You can see for 20 miles, like 200 miles. I can see all the way to California. Just kidding, but looks like it, man.
Yeah, no, that's killer, man. And you're 100% right. It's the experience. Sometimes the experience outweighs the food. Sometimes it's actually not my favorite place to eat. Not that the food's bad; it's good, but there's a more accessible place. But the experience, you just gotta experience this because it's so memorable. You're gonna walk away and you're gonna remember that dinner for the rest of your life, right? That's the same way that you want to talk about mortgages, right? That's who you want to be working with. So.
You want them to remember. You answer the phone excited, call them back. Call them back excited. Always don't leave your baggage at the door. Well, if you had a bad situation, make sure when you're picking up the phone, you don't know where they're at. They're scared. And people are like, when they're buying a home, they're scared to death, right? Emotions are running high. Be that person that calms them down, is there for them, and just to be there and create that referable experience. It's amazing because
it's a game changer.
They're going to want their friends, family, coworkers to experience the same thing.
That's right. Yeah.
And you're going to get more referrals from it.
Well, you got to bring people up on every conversation, right? You got to be the reason that they walk away. Like you said at the beginning, right? They walk away and they're uplifted because of the conversation they have with you. And, when you're doing that, you're doing something special. So, well, Scott, brother, I could keep you here all day, and I think you and I could probably talk for a day or two. Like we could do a Joe Rogan podcast where we're on here for like 5 hours, man. But
the marathon, baby.
But
success marathon.
Yeah, that's it. We'll do that show sometime. I think that'd actually be pretty damn entertaining. But on this one, I think we want to wrap up the message, which is in Redder and what you guys are doing over there, and that you're here to empower people and provide them products, but more than that, provide them support inside of the product, but outside of the product, which is what makes the damn thing so special, So, anything we didn't cover today that we should have?
No, I just can't stress enough. The beautiful part about Redder and and I'm so honored to be there is that it has all of your data that you have closed since 2017, your agent. So if you literally stay right there, focus on those, go deep with those people, like I said, quality over quantity.
Yeah.
And then if you, heaven forbid, you do want to go build new agent relationships or make sure the agents you're working with, you're spending time with that are actually doing something or in the business, like time is money, right? Like we only have so much time. So, and then if you want to build with the right agents, like we have strategies for that. So Devin, I can't tell you how excited I am about this year. I mean, I always get excited. I love, like my favorite saying is only dead fish go with the flow. And so like when the market's crashing, so is everybody else, not me. I'm like, there's a silver.
You're swimming upstream, finding it. Yeah, you're gonna work hard to figure out the solution to make it happen. And that's why guys like you, us dinosaurs, have been in this industry as long as we have, because we've seen some crazy markets. I mean, I can tell you right now, we've been through the crash, right? We've been through all the hard hit points, and we've always found a way to survive in those industries. In fact, thrive. During those times where a lot of people have just tapped out and said, "Man, I can't tell you, I got a handful of people that I know that have gotten out and gotten back in." Right? Out and back in. Yeah. And it's like, I get that. Okay, that works for you. But for me, man, I'm going to figure out a way to be successful in any market. And, That's what you do too, and that's what you got. And now you guys are using that as an opportunity to help others, and that's what makes it really special. So
exciting.
Yeah,
so
good
exciting to
stuff.
see the people succeed with small tweaks, going back to the basics and connecting, engaging, interacting with the right people.
The right people. That's so smart, man. Talking to the right people. So one of my mentors had said this one time, and it's like, hey, you got to make sure that the person is qualified to give you the answer, right? So when you're talking about a question, right? Because you can put something on social, you get 100 different answers. Is the person responding qualified to really give you the answer, right? Well, the same thing goes when you're trying to work with great agents, right? You need to make sure that the agent you're working with is qualified for you to spend the time to track them down and have that communication with them, right? And what do we mean by qualified? Are they closing loans, right? It doesn't mean that we don't want to help empower agents that are not closing loans, but if we're going to spend our time, tracking them down, making phone calls, reaching out to them, meeting with them in public, at the end of the day, we need to make sure that they're qualified. They're people that are actually doing business like we are, because our time is valuable, right? It's precious time. So, you guys are doing a couple of things, and I want to give some shout outs to those before we wrap up today. So start with the morning show. When folks want to get to the morning show, remember, you can rattle it off. It's going to come across the bottom of the screen either way. Cool. How do we get them on the morning show?
Yeah, so rettermorningshow.com. So RETR morningshow.com. Go there, take you there. We do that Monday through Thursday, 9 a.m. to 9:30. So it's an amazing time. Growing,
I'll be there.
Ton of excitement, ton of energy, and a ton of noises. I don't know. So yeah, man, let's do it.
Exactly. I love it, man. I love it. Yeah. So Redder Morning Show, and then you guys are doing something else. There's a Power Hour I heard you mention.
Power Hour, yes. Every Wednesday at 12 o'clock. I want to be there to answer any questions you might have, anything you're struggling with, any search criterias, or maybe suggestions on how to make Redder better. But it's a strategy session. I'm there for an hour to answer any questions. That's every Wednesday at 12 p.m. Eastern.
Awesome, man. And then if the
RedderPowerHour.com.
RedderPowerHour.com. And again, if you're watching this thing, it's scrolling right across the bottom of the screen. But if you're not watching, you're listening in, just go to the description. We're going to have all of Scott's information there. We're going to have all of those links there for you to get in there and get to where you need to be. Because I'm telling you right now, if you want to build success in your business today, you're going to want to be there. You're going to want to be there. Yeah. It's enlightening and empowering. And then what about contact information? Is there a way for them to get a hold of you?
Yeah, so I was going to give you one that has all of it. So if you go to RedderSuccessPlan.com, it has the morning show, it has Power Hour, it has the success plan for you. Implement it with or without us. I don't care. But if you do what's in there, it has videos on how to do it. It's Redder Success Plan, RETRSuccessPlan.com. And then if my email, Scott@redder.app.
And Redder is RETR. That's RETR. Yeah.
Yes, sir. Scott@redder.app. APP.
My man.
Yeah, you know me. And then all our young people don't know what the heck I was talking about right there. But
they're completely lost. Yeah, that's old guys.
And then last but not least, if you want to just get on a demo call, it's retterdemo.com. So RETRdemo.com.
I love it, man. I love it. Well, there it is, guys. And I promise you, if you go over there, you check this stuff out, you're going to love what you find. Like you said, whether you enroll in the product or not, just being there with some of the leaders in this industry, sharing moments, Scott alone, and then you get all the icing on the cake with all the other characters that show up on these meetings. And man, just the freedom of sharing, right? What we're doing, it's so powerful. And that's what I'm about. That's what the Loan Officer Success Partner podcast is about, is empowering you with success techniques. And that's what Redder and the Redder Morning Show and Scott Hudspeth. And, I'm going to give a plug again to Stephen Wyans. He's putting all this thing together with you guys, man. He had the insight to build this amazing product. So, man, you guys make sure that you get over there and check this stuff out. I think you'll be extremely excited with what you find. So good stuff, man.
Worst case is you get up in the morning, you get excited, you get fired up, you get inspired. And Devin, you're there, dude. You bring so much fun to this thing. So
bring the heat.
We appreciate your energy you bring to the show and everything you're doing to help everybody in the industry. So you're an amazing guy, man. If you guys don't know Devin, make sure you plug in, follow, listen. Just an awesome, straight up guy.
I appreciate you, brother. Appreciate you more than you know. So Scott Hudspeth, guys, super, super awesome guy, man. So thank you for showing up today. And hey, thank you guys for tuning in. We appreciate you taking the time to listen or view, however you got here. We appreciate it. If you're just checking in for the first time and want to find us on one of the channels, it's Loan Officer Success Partner Podcast, just podcast network. You can find us on any of the big platforms. If you want to find us on social, we're at the Dubuque Team. Team. And that's my name. Again, it'll be in the description because I'm not going to expect you to try to spell it. But we're going to be at the Dubuque Team. And you can find us there on the internet. You can find us there on Facebook, Instagram, TikTok, and YouTube. And the full podcast is over there on YouTube, along with all the other podcasts. If you want to be a guest on the show, just comment, or find my calendar, jump on, man. Love to connect. In fact, if you're just looking for great information on, how to have success, and we talk about something cool that you want to know more about, jump on the calendar. I'm always happy to take the time to meet people in this industry that are ready to take action.
Redder to take action. I think is what you meant to say. Redder to take
You got it. You got it.
I just got a new one, baby. Just got a new one.
Let's get redder to take action, folks.
Redder to take action.
I love it. Well, this is the Lawn Officer Success Partner, and until the next time, we will see you there.